Save our children!
Save our children!
Save our children!
Save our children!
Save our future!
Save our children!
Save our children!
Save our children!
No more nukes!
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 Hiroshima never again!
Hiroshima
Hiroshima never again!
Hiroshima never again!
Nagasaki never again!
Nagasaki never again!
Nagasaki never again!
Nagasaki never again!
Fukushima never again!
Fukushima never again!
Fukushima never again!
Fukushima never again!
皆さんこんにちは。また今日も諦めずにやってきてくださって、しつこくやってきてくださってありがとうございます。Thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate your persistent. It's already about over 2 years. We are doing it every month this 11th. We are protesting the Japanese government's pro-nuclear policy and then entire nuclear weapons in the global policy. So thank you very much again. August, this month, I think is a very distinguished month because USA, United States of America, detonated 2 atomic bombs over Hiroshima and Nagasaki. That was 69 years ago. So August is always, for me, is a very special month that I always have to think about such a inhumane act that USA brought to Japan. And then in Japan, there are every year, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, they do have atomic bomb commemoration ceremony. And then I like to introduce one of the speech that Miyako Joya, she is about, I think, 70-something years old. She is one of the hibakusha, spoke in Nagasaki, whose speech was so moved. I really impressed because she said so much our concern, straightforward, front of the, of course, Abe Prime Minister, but so many governing those official people. She said it. So I want to introduce, hope quickly, her speech. That she said that she was 6 years old when USA detonated the Nagasaki atomic bomb. The warning siren rang. So she went to the shelter, and then the siren was off, so that she came out from shelter, went back home, and that time she either saw or felt the intense light. Then after that, she doesn't remember what happened, but she was rescued under the house in the floor, under the floor. Then she said she herself didn't have any illness, but her granddaughter died because of this atomic bomb radiation. This is granddaughter is Hibaku Sansei, is a third generation of hibakusha. She thinks that if she didn't expose to the atomic bomb, her granddaughter never died. And she really condemned this inhumane act inhumane nuclear weapons. She believed that we have to abolish all the nuclear weapons from the world, and then the Japan must lead this cause, non-proliferation of nuclear must be signed, must be came up. But instead of Japan is leading the world to that, Japan, she wonders if Japan is doing that responsibility. Recently passed that interpretation of the peace constitution. She thinks that is an outrageous act against the constitution, and she said that creating the weapons and then exporting to the weapons. So now Japan wants to protect the peace by war, she said, and then war create another war. The history proved that. So please do not threaten the young people. Please do not threaten the peace. And then she even mentioned about Fukushima. In Fukushima, so many people are still living in a temporary prefabricated housing, and then many children were diagnosed that thyroid cancer, so that the children and their mothers are afraid and suffering of this. But even despite those problems, Japan is try to restart many plants and then export to the reactors. And even we don't know what to do with the spent fuels. She begged that please think decommission of nuclear power plant in Japan immediately. And Hibakusha survivors, atomic bomb survivors, are having limited life. So all the Hibakusha, including she, tried to tell about Hibaku, about disposed by atomic bomb. And then, so please understand about radiation illness, and then please think of Hibakusha, and she wants to go forward, seek the true peace with many people. That she said. And then this is, I think, very dramatic, or I could say even historical, because not many Hibakusha said in a commemoration that blaming directly to Japanese government. How do you call it? Contrast her speech. The Abe Prime Minister's speech was totally, how do you say, repeating from the last years. He just changed some numbers, like a 68th commemoration to the 69th commemoration, and the rest of them is almost exact same. I don't feel any sincere from Prime Minister. It's so shame. Anyway, she said that, and then because this is like August, special month that the atomic bomb detonated in 69 years ago, I want to tell about, we are doing about decommission of the nuclear power plant, but Japan, of course, bought from USA the nuclear plant because Japan wanted own the technology of nuclear technology and the nuclear weapon. Here are some data. The foreign ministry history document which was leaked in 1995 and written in 1969 said Japan did not need nuclear weapons for the time being, but should keep the economic and the technical potential for production of nuclear weapons. It said that. And even 1993, former Prime Minister Hatta said that Japan has the capability to produce nuclear weapons. So I think we really cannot think separate from nuclear power and nuclear weapons. The August is a good month that we think about how it's connected. About Fukushima, very recently, August 6th, the TEPCO announced that the Fukushima Daiichi reactor 3 was those fuel 100% melted down. They used to say that only 60%. Now they analyzed them. They think it is 100% melted down, and they even melted in a concrete barrier. Now they don't know how to decommission. It is so hard because we cannot even close there. And then reactor 1 is already melted down 100% that we know. Now we know that the reactor 3, this is disaster. And still, the one of Kyushu, Sendai nuclear power plant, about to be started maybe in September. We didn't have the nuclear operation for last 10 or 11 months. Japan has been all right without the nuclear power plant. We don't need a nuclear power plant. We don't have any safe nuclear power plant in Japan. We really cannot allow any nuclear power plant to be restarted. And I hope the Japanese consulate, these people too, think same way as we think. We must still keep on fight for protest the government for the pro-nuclear policy. And because it's August, so many people 69 years ago died. 100,000, more than 100,000 people instantly killed in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and another 100,000 people killed in a few months after that for the acute effect. And then since that, because the radiation after effect, people are suffering. That suffers continues to today. It's never end. So I like to have the moment of silence with people who attended today. Let's pray the people. This is against their will. They didn't want to die. They were inhumanly killed. So let's play 1 minute of silence.
Thank you for coming today, and as has been said, this is an important day because 69 years ago, the United States government dropped 2 nuclear bombs on Japan. And you know, it's very important to understand that after they dropped the bombs, and they had an embedded reporter from the New York Times on the jet, or on the, not a jet, on the plane, and he reported back that there had been no problems, no illnesses of people, that this was just a regular bomb. So they actually covered up the fact that there was radiation disease as a result of the dropping of the nuclear bomb. This was in the New York Times. So this effort to lie about what was going on and the dangerous effects of radiation has a long history. In fact, the people of Hiroshima and Nagasaki had to organize their own health centers, their own community health centers. And much like today in Fukushima, the children, the families, they can't get proper treatment in the government facilities there because the government doesn't want people to know that they're getting cancer, that there's an epidemic of surgeries now, thyroid cyst surgeries in Japan, in different parts of Japan, as a result of Fukushima. The nuclear radiation that was spread by the explosions, by the meltdown, is continuing. And the government says that they want to allow TEPCO to release the radioactive water into the ocean. Now, where does it go when it's released in the Pacific Ocean? It goes to Japan, it goes to Korea, it goes to the United States. That's where the water goes. So we know that the Prime Minister, Abe, says that they've overcome, you can overcome radiation. That's what they're telling the people of Japan. Don't worry about it. Don't think about radiation. But actually, the people of Hiroshima and Nagasaki are still suffering the effects of radiation. So how can they say they've overcome it? 69 years ago, those nuclear blasts are still having an effect on the people of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So it's a flat-out fabrication and lie about what's going on. Now, at the same time, the government of Japan is saying that they need a secrecy law. And they passed legislation to allow the government to prevent people from knowing what's going on. And we in the United States know about all our secrets. Actually, from WikiLeaks, we know some of these secrets. And the secrets are that the United States government is doing illegal things all over the world. The United States government is involved in killing people and assassinating people. The United States is involved in harming people all over the world. And if we look today at what's going on in Iraq, the people of Iraq have suffered from radiation. They suffered because depleted uranium bombs were dropped on the people of Iraq, on Basra. There's an epidemic of cancer going on today in Iraq. This is what the United States has brought to the people of Iraq, and now we're bombing again. There is no solution. There's no military solution to the problems that afflict Iraq and the problems that afflict the world. Dropping more bombs on Iraq is not going to solve the problems there. Yet that's what the governments now say, that the way we can save people is to drop bombs. This is not the way we're going to save people. And the remilitarization of the world today, the building of bases in Jeju in Korea, the building of a base in Australia, the building of bases around the world is putting us in further danger. It's not creating a situation where we can have peace. So we are here today to remember the people of Nagasaki and Hiroshima, and also at the event in Hiroshima, the mayor, I understand, criticized the Prime Minister for passing the secrecy law. This harkens back to the militarization of Japan, when people were put in jail for talking against the war. And today in Japan, people who protest against the burning of nuclear rubble are arrested and jailed in Japan. Imagine that. If you pass out a flyer saying you shouldn't burn nuclear rubble, you're arrested for that. That's part of their secrecy law. I guess they have to protect the public from knowing that nuclear waste is going to be burnt in your prefecture, in your state. So you've got to keep people away from knowing that. So we're saying we have to organize, we have to get the word out, we have to link up with the fight here in the United States against militarization and against more nuclear plants, because President Obama and the U.S. Congress passed a bill for $8 billion to build small nuclear plants. They think that if you build small nuclear plants, that's better than big nuclear plants. But where are you going to put the nuclear waste? That's an unanswered question. There's no place to put the nuclear waste. Nobody wants the nuclear waste. and the nuclear waste is contaminating people. People in San Onofre are being contaminated. People in Diablo Canyon are being contaminated. So we have to say, shut down all the nukes now. 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 So we have to continue educating. We have to continue organizing. We are not going to go away because the future of the world is in our hands, really. The future of the world is in our hands. It's up to what we do, our voices, to change the world. No one is going to change it for us. Only people who stand up and speak out can change it. So that's the lesson. We have to have solidarity. We have to speak out for the people of Japan, the people of the United States, the people of the world. We cannot afford another Fukushima. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Steve. So next speaker is Cecil Pineda, also of the No Nukes on the Fukushima wonderful book. So Cecil Pineda.
Thank you, Chizu. So I'm the author of Devil's Tango, How I Learned the Fukushima Step by Step, which is a journalistic, but it's the new journalism account of the events happening on March 11th of 2011 and subsequent events in Japan. The book came out on the anniversary of Fukushima Daiichi a year later, and I have to say, to my great sorrow, that the events depicted in them are still topical now. But what I really want to share today at today's rally is the connection between nuclear energy and nuclear weapons. Nuclear weapons is war on the fast. It is fast and catastrophic. Nuclear energy is slow war. It's the difference between fire and combustion that occurs from rotting matter. This is what we have to keep in mind, that this industry is joined at the hip. We also have to keep in mind that we have a political landscape that the United States shares with every single other nation now in the global community, namely the trend towards fascism. We have a government here in the United States that is a fascist government and that is no longer accountable to the people and that is secretive and that operates all of its activities in secret without accountability. The same definition applies to the Japanese government, which is unaccountable, which lies, and which operates without any kind of disclosure. What we need in this world is sunshine. We need to have sunshine in the world. That is to say that we all own this planet. It does not just belong to governments and corporations. This is our planet, it is our home, and we live here. So to please keep in mind that this industry is joined at the hip. Weapons and energy are joined at the hip. And to understand that we live now in a political climate the world over which is unaccountable to the citizens of this planet. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Cecile. Thank you. Let's see. We are writing the letter every month to Prime Minister, and then almost last 2 years, one of the consul come down here and then received our letter in hand, in person. But from March 11th, they refused to take it anymore in person, so that we had to send a letter to them. here by certified mail. I had a chance to speak with the vice consul of Japanese consulate a few days ago. And then I had a chance to speak with Consul Hayakawa this morning. Usually I never can speak with her directly, but this time it was not the message machine. It was her. And then, coming down the sidewalk maybe to hustle, I said it, but could we, one of us, could we go inside and then bring a letter to you? And she said, okay, you can, but not on 11th, not on the rally day. So I said, how about just before rally start, can I bring in? No. But then I compromised this time because I want to give a letter in hand, right? So I make with her again appointment and I bring a letter either tomorrow or day after tomorrow. But anyway, it is time to read the letter because Steve have to leave early, right? So this time again, Steve wrote. So Steve gonna write the letter. Read the letter. Yep. Thank you. Shall I hold this?
Okay. Yeah. You want to read it?
No.
Okay. Okay. Dear Prime Minister Abe, today, close to the anniversary of the nuclear bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, we believe that we are again facing a new danger of world war, nuclear radiation, and suffering. Your government continues to tell the Japanese people that they can overcome radiation, and you're raising the radiation contamination limits. You also told the world community and the Olympic Committee that Japan had overcome the problems of Fukushima. The Japanese government and the world is now aware that far from containing the crisis at Fukushima, you were discussing the release of more radioactive water into the Pacific Ocean by TEPCO. Is this what you mean by containment of the Fukushima catastrophe? At the same time, there are a growing number of thyroid cancer surgeries, not just in Fukushima, but even in Sendai. Your government has refused to release the statistical information to the public about the numbers of surgeries. This continued effort to censor and cover up the serious health developments is in fact a continuation of the Japanese government's policy after the Fukushima nuclear plant meltdowns, when the government refused to publicize where the nuclear plumes were located, thereby allowing mothers and their families to actually walk directly into the nuclear plumes. Your government's effort to tell the Japanese and the people of the world that you can overcome and decontaminate Fukushima is not credible, yet you continue to put out the same story. The No Nukes Action Committee and others are here today to let the American people and the Japanese people know that we do not accept these statements and policies, and we know that in fact there's a campaign of falsification going on. The cancers, we call on you and your government to be held accountable. The cancers among the children and families of Fukushima continue to grow, and the refusal of the government to fully fund the evacuation of children and families from Fukushima is another issue that concerns us and people throughout the world. We need action now to address these issues which continue to proliferate, and the effort to silence anti-nuke activists in Japan by arrest and repression, along with your recent passage of a secrecy law, will not silence those who are putting truth to power. We also oppose the continued effort to remilitarize Japan and Asia. This again will only build the war profiteers in Japan and around the world. Funding should be going to help the people of Fukushima and Japan who can continue to suffer the effects of Fukushima. No Nuke Actions Committee. Thank you.
Bravo.
Thank you. Still, when you leave, you have to bring the microphone too, or you?
No, Cosmi's going to stay.
Oh, good.
Okay.
All right. Okay, thank you. So, either today, tomorrow, or day after tomorrow, anyway, in this week, I will come to San Francisco again, and then give a letter to Ms. Hayakawa, consul, directly. So don't worry. And then she said that Actually, she said that either you made it or give it in person, the results are same because they bring it to Tokyo. That's good. They bring it to Tokyo. The results are same, but process are different, I said. Because they used to come take in person, they even without any reason they refused. So that's we are wondering, right? So I told her. And then the next speaker is Dan Marlin. Yeah. Dan Marlin is doing over like 30 years protesting against the nuclear weapons. More than 30 years in the UC Berkeley. So thank you so much, Dan.
I really wasn't planning on speaking, but some of the things that have already been said were along the lines of what I came up with. And it's a well-known saying that truth is the first casualty of war. And as Steve said, secrecy has been the MO of the whole nuclear establishment from the Second World War on. The Americans who bombed Hiroshima and Nagasaki, on the one hand, were very, very interested in very detailed, minute information. They had squads in there within a day or two, and they were digging up the soil and analyzing it. This was a great experiment. They wanted all of that information. But at the same time, aside from that New York Times reporter who Steve mentioned, there was another reporter, I can't remember his name. Huh? Yeah, who on his own, in a totally unembedded way, made his way to the scene of the bombings, and he wrote about it very vividly, and that's been suppressed. He gave up, and it was only recently that his son found it in his father's papers that it's been published. So this goes along, it's very consistent with the way that nuclear power and the secrecy that prevails, both when something goes wrong and when they're just making everyday plans to keep going the way it's going. But the final thing that I wanted to say is there's a reason, there's a psychological, social reason that compels people who do bad things to try to keep them secret. And it's because if people realize it, then that will have an impact on human society. And there's going to be some kind of momentum that's generated against the bad thing. And a good example is the revelations of Edward Snowden. They condemn him for doing it, and they say, be a man, come back and get crucified. But the fact is that the things that he revealed has forced a debate and forced some small measure of accountability. So the truth has unimaginable power because human beings don't want to be trashed. They want their dignity in their lives and their survival to be respected. So that's why it's so important when all of the conventional outlets for getting information are sealed tight, that you do it in the street and use any means necessary to get the word out. And that's what we're doing here.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you. Next speaker. Bob? You don't know. Anybody else like to speak out? Anyway,
She's gonna speak.
who? Also, I'm sorry. Yeah, please. Name?
Hi, I just want to share. My name's Lotus, and I'm Chinese American, but my brother was named Atom, A-T-O-M, born in Shanghai in 1947, because the bombs were just such a phenomena. But my father understood what it meant, so we lived in New Mexico, And my high school debate partner in 1966-67, we debated should nuclear weapons be proliferated. So we did all the radiation research, we saw all the footage of all the suffering. She and her husband and her daughter and her son-in-law all work at Los Alamos. It's the most financially lucrative job in the state, along with Sandia and the other 5 military bases in New Mexico. So I also wanted to share that the Sane Freeze, the anti-nuclear movement in the 70s and the 80s, was very powerful here in the U.S. So I belong to Mothers Against Nuclear Disarmament. Helen Caldecott educated a lot of us, and I think we have to bring it up and share it again with all the young mothers, because when GE could not sell more plants here, they went over to Japan and India and other places. So for GE, I want you guys to know that they built a pilot energy project in China, but it's only for the U.S. Embassy and the Israeli Embassy next to each other on the far edge of town, away from all the other embassies. The last thing I want to share, well, 2 things, is a very good book about the nuclear establishment is Bomb Power by Gary Wills, and explains all the ways they use secrecy. Also Joseph Gerson's book, The Empire and the Bomb. So the last thing is that Hatoyama attended the peace conference in Shanghai last month, Shanghai or Beijing. And so he received a lot of coverage, and he was interviewed extensively on Chinese TV. And I wish that we could get more news media about what the Japanese people do in Japan. So we have to find all the other news sources so Americans can see how many Japanese are against nuclear power. Thank you very much.
That she mentioned about GE, the maker of the reactors. I like to report that a big movement in Japan, actually 4,000 plaintiffs sued GE and Hitachi and Toshiba, which makers are Fukushima Daiichi reactor maker. From the altogether 35 different country people sued in Tokyo. So this court, I think start maybe October, but will really need to be watched. But one thing that I have to really mention that when USA sold nuclear power plant to Japan, there are treaty. Nuclear power, some kind of treaty, that any nuclear reactor makers has non-responsibility of anything happened.
Yeah, but if someone hits the baby,
Only operator will have those responsibility. That way, the makers, manufacturers, very easy to sell the reactors everywhere, because they don't have the responsibility. Think about like a GE made some toaster, and that toaster made some fire because it malfunctioned in your home. And we have to, of course, sue that because they are design defect, some kind, right? Of course, the maker's responsibility, but somehow the nuclear power plant, the old reactors, has no responsibility. That is continue from the many years, so that even Japan is trying to sell the nuclear reactor to other countries, Turkey and Vietnam, many people. Same treaty, same idea, that the maker don't have any responsibility. This is very outrageous law. So that we know that I am one of plaintiffs, and some people here is already one of plaintiffs too. But we know maybe this court we might defeat, but still we want to bring that attention of this injustice, and also maybe the society is changing, because we know now nuclear power plant, well, everybody thought it's safe and everybody thought it's cheap energy, but it's totally wrong. After we woke up the fact, then we maybe change this treaty is illegal. So anyway, it's happened there, and then we have so many debris, and then decontamination, the soil, and then leaves and everything, and then we are still in putting the plastic bag, and we don't know where to put, but we, Japanese government, are looking for the last place to store. Of course, many places, many villages are against that. They don't want those. And then government pointed in Fukushima a few villages, contaminated area. And they first offer on the table, I think, $1 billion for next 10 years, 30 years. 30 years, I think. And then the villagers, they didn't want. Then the government guy said it, 最後は金目でしょ? 金目. Well, the last is the amount of money. They're gonna say yes. That they said. That made very controversial, criticize that the government always, finish the things by money. Then very recently, government offered $3 billion and $10 million for the next 30 years. Then the Fukushima prefecture and some town mayors said, well, we're gonna think about. So is it really because of money? But I think, for me, I think they should get as much as money they can. Then leave the town to the safer place to create the new village. That I think, because, yeah, it is a disaster. Anybody else want to talk? Okay, anyway, August, because it's the Maureen, who is a concern, circle of concern. Thank you, Maureen.
It is unchristian that so many people are catching cancer from radioactivity all over the world. For the March 11th, March 11th disaster, 2011 disaster at Fukushima.
Thank you, Maureen. Because this is August, that's why I still stick into the nuclear powers. I'm not the nuclear weapons. Actually, I spoke in Livermore annual commemoration. I was asked to speak about the connection of the nuclear power plant and the nuclear weapons. And when I finished talk, somebody tapped my shoulder and then said thank you to me, because the couple was there every year, and then they condemned the nuclear weapons, and then they think that the nuclear weapons and then power plants are connecting, but they really see the many people who thinks that it's totally separate. I against nuclear weapons, but I like the nuclear power plants. She met many people say like that. So when I said it is connecting, they like to hear that. And then here one thing that I told before the connection about foreign minister's document disclosed, and in 1993 Hata former minister said. But this is another thing that right, former Prime Minister Eisaku Sato, as you know that he is a recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize in 1974. But this Eisaku Sato and then former President Nixon had a secret agreement that bring the nuclear weapons in Okinawa that we later found out. So giving to the, the Eisaku Sato is the person same as liberal Democrats or former Prime Minister. They are really longing for the nuclear weapons, and the Eisaku Sato is one of them, and he got Nobel Peace Prize. It is very controversial, and I thought, well, the Obama's Peace Prize is also controversial because how much he made effort to make peace in the world, how much he's really doing for the non-proliferation of nuclear weapon. So, and then even Japan was that time very famous Japanese comic, I think Osomatsu-kun or Bakabon, I forgot which one, Fujiwara Akatsuka, the main character said that since Eisaku Sato won the Nobel Peace Prize, I've been unable to believe in anything at all. Anyway, Japanese government has been very favor of the nuclear power plant, of course, and then technology, then like to make nuclear weapons. Government need to the neighboring country feels like, well, Japan might have nuclear weapons, or Japan might make nuclear weapons anytime. That threat Japanese government wanted. That's why the reason Japanese government never want to give up the nuclear power plant. Despite these troubles, please wake up. Nuclear power plant is really causing so much problems. It is expensive, it is taking lives, and it is taking our daily lives, taking the land, and then the future children are suffering. It is time to really decommission all nuclear power plants. We have to step forward, stand up more, and then keep our voice louder, and then protest to the Japanese government. And then here the California, of course, it is dangerous. Diablo Canyon are still there operating, and then many people around there is really against for that. They don't hear, they don't want to listen, but we cannot give up. We just need to keep on doing. One day we will change the world, that I believe. Otherwise I never be here. So anyway, many things are coming up. Please visit our No Nukes Action .wordpress.com, so that you know the more event coming up event you will find out. And so we will of course have next month, August 11th. No, it's September. Time and tide wait no for men. So September 11th, I hope everybody here again, and then maybe bring your friend, and then maybe twice as more people. In Japan, Fukushima is going far away because the Abe Prime Minister cunningly invited 2020 Tokyo Olympic, averted the attention from the Fukushima to Olympic, and I am the one person signed for the give up the Tokyo Olympic. So I think you can visit the just find out Tokyo Olympic, and then you might find these petitions. So very last, we also let's wish and then keep pushing that never again Fukushima! Never again Fukushima! Never again Fukushima! Never again Fukushima! Never again Fukushima!
Never again Fukushima!
Never again Hiroshima! Never again Hiroshima! Never again Hiroshima! Never again Nagasaki! Never again Nagasaki! Never again Nagasaki! Never again Fukushima! Never again Fukushima! Never again Fukushima! Shut down all nukes! Shut down all nukes! Shut down all nukes! Shut down all nukes!
Shut down all nukes!
Shut down all nukes!
Shut down all nukes!
Shut down all nukes!
Shut down all nukes!
Shut down all nukes!
Shut down all nukes!
Save our children!
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 Save Fukushima children!
Save Fukushima children!
Save Fukushima children!
Save Fukushima children!
Never again Fukushima! Never again Fukushima! Never again Hiroshima! Never again Hiroshima! Never again Nagasaki!
Never again Nagasaki!
Never again Nagasaki!
Never again Nagasaki!
Shut down all nukes!
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 Shut down Diablo Thank you so much. I see you September